I did get a security job, got into an apartment. Um, so I was working in the guard shack. This is where Steve comes in.
All right.
So he was working for a truck company and he was working in the yard truck.
Mm-hmm.
So during my training, I remember the guy said, there's two Steves that work here. There's Steve Senior and Steve Junior. I actually met his dad first. And I said, okay, and like Steve Senior at that time, super sweet man, nice. So I got to meet him. And then the guy training me said that Steve Junior works like the 4 to 12 shift. And I said, okay. Well, I was always training on the 8 to 4 shift, so I never met him until I was on my own. We were actually friends first, before we started dating. We like, I love telling the story, but we would spend like, because we both got off at midnight and we'd hang out in either I hang out in the yard truck with him, when he was working overtime, or we'd like sit on his tailgate and just like talk till like 3, 4 in the morning. And I do remember there was one time where he was talking and I was kind of in his zone, and I said, I'm gonna marry this man. So fast forward a little bit, so he ended up moving into my apartment for a couple months. Then we ended up moving out together into a rental house. Mind you, this is all happening and from between July of 04 and December 04. January of 05 he proposed, and then May of 05 we got married. And then here we are, 20 years married.
So where are we in your life? You're in your mid-20s?
Yeah.
Were they all in your life when you guys were having kids and everything? Everything was good with his parents?
Yeah, she was really helpful when we had our oldest, because he was born a preemie. And he came home on oxygen and stuff because he spent a month of his life in the NICU. So yeah, so like when he was working, if I needed help, like she'd be right there. So yeah, that was good. Second child, like she was still around. They'd come around, his parents. My sister would come up and visit. I believe she would bring my mom. Cause yeah, in the beginning, I think, well, minus my dad, he wasn't around when I had my kids. So then,
would your mom try to get you to go back or anything like that?
Oh yeah.
Did you, when after you guys got married?
Not really. So every year they have what's called a memorial service.
Yeah.
And they would always invite us to that. And we went a couple times. I really didn't have, it was more like kind of just appease them type deal.
A religious aspect in his life, and I guess your mom
also,
but she never forced you to go or asked you to go back to the Catholic Church or anything like that.
No, nothing like that. And like his mom would take our oldest boy like to the Kingdom Hall because he was young. He didn't really know.
Yeah.
And in my head, I was just happy that he was getting God in his life some way. Different story. So after we had our second son, I think I had like some postpartum issues, and we were having a rough time then. But that's not really the time that brought me back to Jesus. So it was after we had our daughter. Once I got myself back to normal after having our second kid. It was a little after we had our daughter, stuff was weird. At this point, I think he was working a different job. His hours were all over the place. Wasn't home a lot. When he was home, he was tired, grumpy, and so how he was behaving, and again, this is how I think my parents affected me. Like, I didn't look at it as, oh, he's providing for our family.
Right.
I'm taking it personal. Like, why is he being like mean or grumpy and la di da? So we we started fighting. Like there were times where he'd be sleeping and I would intentionally like be loud in the kitchen. And like looking back, like I'm actually embarrassed about that, but I mean it was I believe we had to go through that to get to where we are now.
Yeah.
So stuff like I said, we're just like fighting all the time, and back then, like I would stay up late, and he'd be leaving for work at like midnight. Um, so I can't remember if we were fighting this particular night when he left, but I remember I stayed up, and for a while I was sitting on the couch, just kind of with like a dim light on, just sitting there, like. Then I decided to turn the TV on, and this like it still excites me because looking back, like I understand it. But turn the TV on. I didn't know who she was, but it was Joyce Meyer, and she's looking straight at the TV, and she says, "You did not turn this on by accident." And I'm just sitting there like a deer in the headlights, like what? And I don't even remember what she said after that. All I know is I kept listening to her. She must have been preaching about something that obviously grabbed me because from that point on, I wanted to listen to her messages. I wanted to know more about God and Jesus. I started buying her books. He did not like it, but I did it anyway because I wanted to learn. As a Catholic and the traditions, I had it in my head my kids needed to be baptized in order to be saved.
Yeah.
So I reached out to Joyce Meyer Ministries. I was tickled like when they wrote back, and what they did was they acknowledged like baptism, and they actually took the time to explain it to me better. And then they encouraged me to find a local church, which again is interesting because like for a whole year I was eyeing up a particular church.
Right.
So after talking with Joyce Meyer Ministries, I sent a message to this church, probably asking questions. But basically, like the following Sunday, I ended up going.
Do you know why
boys.
that church?
I have no idea. I believe.
Did you know about all the denominations and?
So, because of all the religious stuff, I wanted something non-denominational.
Okay.
And so I believe God led me there. I mean, in my head, I'm like, why else would that be on my mind for like a year? So I went there and like they were very nice. I started learning more and I got to actually understand baptism more and a lot of stuff was clicking.
Right.
So I had a good experience there.
So you started going there, but your husband didn't.
Oh yes, we got to back up to that. So my boys and I would go because our daughter is autistic. So she was a handful. So for a while I wouldn't take her. But the people of the church encouraged me to bring her.
Yeah.
So I did. It was challenging at first because she was so rambunctious. Like her and I would sit at the table in the fellowship room, and I always felt like I was missing out because I was in the other room, even though you could hear and see on the TV. But anyway, she's. I think even she started growing there because she would bring up like Jesus and stuff, and it was just cute. But anyway, so our oldest boy ended up he decided he was 10, he wanted to get baptized.
Right.
So we invited Steve to come. Obviously it was his boy, so he came, but I don't think he really cared too much about the.
Did you care, Steve?
Like.
I cared because it was my son.
Yeah.
But other than that, it was.
So can I go to you and say, like, is this JW all over again? Because they were baptizing them? Isn't that what the JWs do for membership? They baptize into the church?
They baptize into their church. You become a member.
Do they do submersion baptism?
With a baptism, yeah.
Yeah.
But they have, I forget if it's like 60 or 80 questions you got to go through, and
Yeah.
got to be taught certain things.
So that didn't put your little guard up.
Oh, the whole thing put my guard up.
Well, yeah, but you're letting your son go get baptized.
Right. I wasn't going to be like, you can't be baptized for your beliefs. But I always had a kind of like a predisposition against people who are religious.
Yeah.
Or especially like pastors or leaders of a church.
Yeah.
I always had kind of a questioning nature, I guess. I would say.
I don't think that's wrong. I mean, even today, there's, especially the way you grew up in the JWs in your early life. But anyhow.
Well, I was going to say when, I think at one point I did ask him in our relationship if he believed in God, and he said that he believed in a higher power, but that was pretty much as far as it went.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, he was always sketchy of anyone in that position of pastor, preacher, whatever.
Sketchy is a good word.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that never came up before you got married, though. Did you believe in God?
No.
I don't think so.
So you're at the baptism.
Yeah.
Continue.
Yeah. And yeah, nothing, I guess, really changed with him. Obviously, the kids and I continued to go. I would invite him.
Did you go to the service too, or just the baptism?
Yeah, he went to the service.
You went to the service. Okay. And then there was a lunch.
Yes.
Yes. The free food always gets
done. So that's actually one of the times how I got him to come back is Soup Sunday. I made his favorite soup. I said, I'm making your favorite soup. Come on. And he did come. But in between, like that time, like I'd ask him, he'd always say no. And then, like our boys, mostly our oldest boy, would start asking him. And it'd be like, we'll see, maybe. And it ended up being a no that Sunday morning. So yeah, he wouldn't really come.
So how many years did you go to church before he said yes? Well, how many years did you go, Steve? Couple?
I want to say it was like 2 or 3.
3, so 4 years.
I think 2017 was when we started going.
Mm-hmm.
So it was 3 or 4 years later when he finally decided to, I guess, come check out the church, like for real. And he can share like why, like what he saw.
Did you accept Jesus in your life before this? I know you do. I know your son did because he got baptized.
Oh, so
and that was one of the prerequisites before getting baptized is accepting Jesus.
Yeah. So I accepted Jesus, but I didn't get baptized. For some reason, I never. It's kind of weird. I understand it now as looking back, but I never had that like, oh, go get baptized. Because I was baptized as a baby, but again,
Was that sprinkle?
Yeah.
Not that it matters.
But yeah, because the Bible teaches being submerged.
That's what Jesus was.
Yeah, and I wasn't, and I knew at some point I needed to be rebaptized. In my decision. But yeah, for some reason, I didn't.
Okay.
Until I did it, and we'll get there. Because this is.
Why did you decide to go to church, Steve? Because your wife, or because of God?
Well, they would ask me to come. Most of the time, I would say no. I did see a change in my wife. And it was a pretty big change that she went through. And then like during COVID, I ended up going down there, and I believe it was another meal day.
Yeah, it was Soup Sunday. I think that's what I realized.
And I went down there with like, okay, let's see what this is about.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how it all started. and I started my own personal Bible reading, and then started going regularly. And then I think it was a year after that we both got baptized together.
Okay.
So.
But you never read the Bible at all, or thought of it before that.
Well, as a JW, you read their Bible.
Yeah.
Along with their books. So I did have a very limited knowledge of the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to read through the Bible without somebody telling me what everything means or their interpretation of it. I just wanted to read through it be actually able to read things in context, full chapters.
Yeah.
One right after another.
Right.
And I wanted to do that before I made any decision.
It was awesome.
When he started going.
Yes, because having your whole family there, it's different.
Oh yeah.
Can't explain it, but it was different, and like even our home dynamic changed. Like he took his place, as the Bible says, as head of the household. We started, like praying before dinner. Like we got closer, and we don't. It's fun when you go after Jesus together and like learn. It's not what people think it is, that you gotta follow all these rules and you gotta quit doing fun stuff. Like I quit drinking. I haven't smoked since I got pregnant with our oldest son, which was back in 2006. And like we're fun. Like we probably don't act our age. He will when he needs to, but I don't. but we're fun. We're close, and we don't really fight anymore. And if we do get upset with each other, give it 5 minutes. One of us will either say we're sorry or we say something like stupid funny, and it's just like,
no, that's good. I mean, Jesus, you were at the low point of your life when you guys were probably at odds or whatever, and then that's when he comes and says, "Come over here."
Yeah, and what's interesting though is like we're opposites, but like it works.
Yeah.
So, like I've truly been blessed having him like come into my life, because I know like I don't deserve a lot of the stuff that has happened, or just how he's blessed my life in general. And like I said, like Steve's a huge part of where I am today. I mean, Jesus gets the number one.
Right. You got a relationship with him.
Yeah, and it helps. And I say this to my other Christian friends, that I wish more people would be open to learning more about Jesus and bringing him into your life, because it'll change. Like, yeah, I still have a little anxiety, but once I start either singing a worship song, or I'll just start talking to Jesus in my mind, like you can change that.
All right.
So I'm going to share an example.
Go ahead.
So, last school year I started subbing, and I'm timid. A lot of people, especially your wife, does not think I'm shy. But
I don't think you're shy.
But it's weird because I am, and I can be. So I wanted to sub just like as a teacher's assistant or whatever. Well, I've been encouraged to like sub as a teacher, and my automatic reaction is I laugh and I'm like, "There's no way," because high school kids can be mean. And I'm kind of nerdy, so I figured I'm gonna be one of those subs that get laughed at. Well, I remember I I felt like, go do it. And
Okay.
I told God, I said, I can't do this without you. I literally prayed from the time I got in my car all the way until I got to school. And that first day of subbing, it was like I wasn't me. It's like it almost came to me like, oh my gosh, I'm doing this.
Right.
And I'm sitting there just giving the glory to God because I'm like, I know that's you because I can't do this. So, like, I got like a lot of stories to share, like how God is like move. I don't know how to word it.
You definitely know there's a difference before and after.
Yes, and
before it was hopeless. After it isn't.
And now there is hope, and you honestly are never alone because just go to God and surrender yourself. Totally worth it.
To summarize, you had a broken family, you rebelled, you went into the darkness, you found him. You had kind of a good life, but it could be better. And you got a little
lost
headbutts, and then you found Jesus through the TV, which is good. He shows up everywhere.
Yeah.
And you started searching for him, and when you after you started searching for him, you changed, obviously, because your husband said you changed, and then that's what changed him.
I liked you before.
No, but I'm just saying, like that's the synopsis of.
Yeah, like overall. I wasn't a jerky wife, like trying to keep him up all night even though he had to work. Like that shifted, and my mind went to I wanted to be a better wife to him. Mm-hmm.
Anything you want to add to, Steve?
So even before she she became a Christian, we would spat. I can have a short fuse, and she would have a short fuse, and then it would just be like a flash of the pan. We would, but it wasn't like there was never a time where I thought, well, I'm going to leave her.
Yeah.
And I don't believe that she thought the same thing. But it was, we could get very mean and aggressive extremely quickly.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, like I still had that same short fuse, but she didn't. Mm-hmm. And she was much more like the fruits of the spirit.
Yeah. Now I'm just fruity.
Yes. But you could see in her personality. Yeah. There was a lot less, how can I get you mad, to how can I calm the situation.
Yeah.
And so, and you could see that big change and how she dealt with me, how she dealt with the children, how she just presented herself, and how she, in her actions. So it was very noticeable.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, because even as Christians, you're still going to have the bad days. It's just now you've got something to hang on to and to look towards, and in your mind, like this too shall pass.
Yeah.